Sports China. Hello, Coach. What do you think about Draymond's suspension in Game 5, and would that make any difference to your game plan tomorrow?
We still have to play. I mean, it doesn't mean anything because he's suspended. They still have a great team, and we got to come out and play basketball. We can't worry about the suspension.
Next question over here on the right.
Coach, Davide Chinella to NBA Italy. You got fined too. Any comments about that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
You got fined for what you said about the Raptors.
No comment.
Spears in the middle.
Mark Spears, ESPN. Coach, can you just talk about the trash talking you dealt with playing with guys like Kobe and Shaq, and what is it like in that atmosphere, and what is crossing the line?
Well, it's part of the game, and some guys they thrive off talking stuff on the floor. But I mean, a lot of things are said on the floor that that are not right. But it's just part of the game, and I don't know what crossing the line is. I mean, but you just play the game. I mean, the trash talking happens, but if you're winning the game, you should talk trash. Do something about it.
And it also, is this something you see lesser now during the game than say when you were playing? Or is it still as strong as always?
It's lesser now.
Why? Just because of the different guys?
Yeah, different guys, new rules, the taunting rules and all that. So it's a lot different nowadays.
Joe in the third row.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. Ty, the first part of the whole LeBron-Draymond thing was LeBron stepping over him. And that's being compared to, obviously, what happened with you in the 2001 finals. Do you remember how you felt when that happened to you? And I mean, can you compare it at all to how Draymond reacted the way he did?
Well, with me, I just played good defense, contested the shot, and I turned around and looked at the shot, and he made it, and I failed. He stepped over top of me. I didn't make a big deal of it, and after the game, of course, it was a big deal, and everybody talked about it. But at the end of the day, we won, so that's all that matters to me.
Chris, right here in the front.
Chris Parker, Cleveland Scene. Coach, you talk a lot about your team playing right. Sometimes it comes and goes. What do you think is the cause for them to stop playing right when they do?
Well, the way they play defense, when they switch it 1 through 5, and you try to take advantage of mismatches, and we don't make quick decisions. That's when we kind of get in trouble. We got to make quick decisions versus the switches and versus the mismatches, and then play from there. And once we do that, we got to make the right play coming out of the double teams.
Is that also about just being aggressive with the ball?
Yeah, being aggressive. Attacking, being aggressive, attacking the basket, and then once we get there, making the right play and right decision.
On the left side. Ty, Terry Pluto from the Plain Dealer. I was just looking, the last few teams that were down 3-1 the series, played on the road, they got blown out. How do you kind of approach that with your team, and when the fact is, look, the odds are stacked against you, all this kind of stuff?
Just win one game. Bring everything we got to win one game. And I told the guys before we left, we have to come back to Cleveland anyway, so why not come back and play a game? So, we got to give everything we got. Our backs are against the wall, and we got to be prepared just to win one game.
How do you, the players obviously know you're going to go into a hostile environment, and even I just kind of looked at how those last few games went with other teams. One was, for example, even with LeBron at San Antonio, it starts steamrolling it against you, there, and then you're down 3-1. How do you kind of stop the tide on that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Okay, I'm sorry. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you go on the road, you're down 3-1, you get behind early. How do you stop a tide from getting steamrolled?
Got to call every timeout you got, just to, every time they go on a 5 or 4 or 5 point, run without us scoring, I try to call a timeout and just try to, stop their runs early as possible, because we know they can go on large runs. So, just got to try to stop the runs as best as possible. Try to get a basket coming out of timeout or get to the free throw line.
Dave here on the right.
Dave McMenamin, ESPN. Tyronn, how does Draymond Green's suspension impact your starting lineup and your rotation for Game 5?
It doesn't impact our starting lineup, but he brings a toughness to their team. We know that. He's the heart and soul of their team, but we still got to play. I mean, his suspension doesn't, make us win the game. We got to go out and win the game and take the game. So, it's a big suspension on their end, but we still got to play.
So are you saying you're going to stick with the same lineup used Games 3 and 4 to start?
I don't know yet. I'm just saying it doesn't have an impact one way or another.
Any other questions for Coach? All right, thank you.